The biggest day of 2024 in gaming is close upon us. Extremely close, in fact, since it's 2 days away, or tomorrow by the time the vid goes up. It's a day where gamers, no matter what kind of gamers they are probably buying at least one big game, if they're the type to buy games at launch. That day is March 22nd, which is releasing a trifecta of well-known games that are expected to make a splash, not necessarily by me, but the consumer base at large is paying attention to all three of them. These are Dragon's Dogma 2, Rise of Ronin, and Princess Peach Showtime. The Nintendo heads want Peach, the Souls-like crowd wants Rise of Ronin, and the Dragon's Dogma fan cult wants Dragon's Dogma 2. Most of us probably fall into one or more of these categories. It's a day that could certainly hurt a wallet if you're a multifaceted gamer. So let's talk about these games, and why I personally am hopeful for one of them, but wary of all of them. Of my two hot takes this video, let me start with the slightly cooler one, which is that Princess Peach Showtime feels like it was made for actual toddlers. The initial trailer was interesting and unique, seeing Peach take front and center stage, literally cosplaying as various entities to ideally introduce many cool playstyles and ideas into a varied experience. I am a guy who likes good Nintendo games, which includes many that star side characters from the Mario universe, like Luigi's Mansion, WarioWare, and the original Donkey Kong Country. Full disclosure, I've never actually played any WarioWare games, but they look fun and I like them conceptually. Anyway, I say that to say that I am someone who would generally be interested in the idea of a Peach game, even though Daisy is better, so I obviously wanted it to be good. But based on the demo, I just felt like I was playing an actual preschool game for people who throw tantrums at the grocery store. I think they think Peach is a role model and that her breakout game should be the inspiration for more girls to become gamers, so they wanted her game to be playable by little girls who have never touched a controller before. The gameplay experience is thoughtless and mashy when it comes to the action, though the chef costume did introduce a cake decorating minigame that required more than one brain cell, but the other 80% of the costume was just more mashing. Story-wise, Peach gets an invitation to come to this grand theater, unaware of what's to come and what is virtually indistinguishable from the setup of the Luigi's Mansion games, but she soon discovers she has to save the day from this evil lady thing who takes over the theater and has a terrible baby villain name, but I forgot what it is. It might as well have been Mrs. Darkness, like it was something that fucking stupid, and her henchmen are called like the Sour Grapes or some bullshit that makes me want to piss my diaper. So Peach teams up with a talking ribbon and then uses it to attack the henchmen, and I use that word very, very loosely. What she does is she kind of extends the ribbon out towards a dude, and then it gently wraps around them, which makes them run away and disappear. I seriously don't get it. They get touched by the ribbon, and they lose their evilness or something and just fuck off to the nearest exit. It's without a doubt the lamest way to defeat an enemy I've ever seen in any game, ever. I was at a loss for words when I saw that the first time. I thought they forgot to program a death animation or they were just glitching out of existence. The core issue with Princess Peach Showtime for me can be summed up in one adjective: stupid. The whole thing just feels dumb and dumbed down. There are obviously still many more costumes with more chances for gameplay to not suck that we haven't seen, or seen but haven't played, but I can't let Hopium cost me $60 on this one. I kinda wanna buy it to make a roast video of it if it does end up staying as bad as the demo was, but that's an investment I would not recoup, so it's hard to justify. Next up, we have Dragon's Dogma 2, and the hotter of my hot takes, maybe, which is that I tried the first one years ago, have no idea why it's considered a cult classic, and have no interest in the sequel. I have seen about a half hour of gameplay footage at this point, and I just don't see it. I'm out here watching IGN call it some of the best action RPG combat that exists, while still giving it an 8, and that is just not translating for me because all I see is what looks like clunky, ineffectual sword swings and framey spells. How are you going to be a game that runs around 30 FPS and still dips during the action? There's conflicting information on the internet about whether or not it's locked at 30 or just goes a little bit higher than 30 or goes up to 60 or whether it depends, but all the footage I've seen has been around 30, and as someone who plays every game that lets me in performance mode, I don't like that. The chief reason everyone wants Bloodborne remade is so it can get the hell off the 30 FPS it was stuck at on PS4, but devs will still release modern games 10 years later that match that performance. If I get Dragon's Dogma 2 at launch, I'm going to boot it up and immediately be like, they should remake this. I also heard the phrase, there isn't much in the way of fast travel in a review, and that just turns me so off, you wouldn't believe it. I'm probably not getting Dragon's Dogma 2, since people have been asking. Then we have Rise of Ronin, which is the game I'm most excited for, that I'm hoping is good enough and convenient enough to warrant a boss ranking. These are the people who made Nioh and Wolong Fallen Dynasty. They've been very prolific lately, which I guess is easy to do when you don't change your games very much. Rise of Ronin looks a bit more of a departure than previous games, featuring an Assassin's Creed-esque city to jump around in, but still seemingly retains that quick, fluid action that never gets old. I still have unasked questions about how it's all going to turn out and how quality it'll actually be, since you never know, so there's some trepidation associated with it, but I'd still very much like this game to be good. So March 22nd is going to be a big one. Usually bigger games are more spread out than this. I remember February 2022 was a big deal because Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring all released the same month, whereas now we've got 3 noteworthy games on the same day. Rise of Ronin certainly matches Dying Light 2's pedigree. Peach will probably outsell Horizon regardless of quality, and the For You tab of Twitter is certainly trying to tell me that Dragon's Dogma 2 is the next Skyrim or Elden Ring. I feel pretty confident there won't be another singular date this year that is as stacked as March 22nd, unless they decide to release Kingdom Hearts 4, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong on the same day. I'd go behind on my rent for that shit. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos on the same day, and I'll see you guys next time.